Well, hey guys, Dave here, and I just wanted to make this video because I want to talk about something that happened last night. So, I like to listen to conservative talk radio, not because I agree with it, but because it's just comedy. Those guys are so stupid. They think they know so much, but really they don't. So, normally, like I've called in a few times in the past, but most of the time I don't because I know that they're just going to hang up on me and they're just going to, control the conversation. But last night I just had to. Because there was this Trump supporting MAGA moron guy on one of my local radio stations, and he was talking about the unalienable rights that God supposedly gave us, and he kept referring to the Constitution. He kept saying, well, the Constitution says that God gave us unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's not the Constitution. That's the Declaration of Independence. The Constitution says nothing about that. It's the Declaration of Independence that talks about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and unalienable rights given to us by God and all that. So I was like, man, I got to call in because this is ridiculous. So I called in and I said to him that he's proving that he's an idiot. And of course that pissed him off. And he's like, he went off on his little rampage. And I said, but you keep saying that's the Constitution. That's not the Constitution. That's the Declaration of Independence. And oh boy, so anyway, like I figured out, he ended up hanging up on me. But I wanted to talk about that for a minute because people love to bring up, these rights that supposedly God gave us. And if you look up the definition of unalienable rights, you'll find that these are rights that supposedly cannot be taken away. But I want to break them down. So these are rights that were given to us by God that supposedly cannot be taken away. So the first one is life. Well, we know that's bullshit because the state can execute you, the police can execute you before you're found guilty, even after you're found guilty. How many people have gone to death, been executed by the state, and then come to later find out, oops, we were wrong. How many times have the cops killed somebody that hasn't been convicted of a crime, hasn't done anything, and nobody says anything? So if these are rights that are given to us by God that can't be taken away, the first one, life, no. The second one, liberty. So liberty kind of refers to, everybody gets their day in court. Well, if this right can be taken away from you, first of all, let's look at again. How many people have been wrongly convicted and then later found out to be innocent by the Innocent Project? Also, how many people get arrested, go to jail, and have to get bail? I think bail should be illegal. I think that holding a person without bail should be illegal because I thought that we were innocent until found guilty. So until a person has a day in court, how can they not get out of jail? Or why should they have to pay bail? Because am I going to get that money back if I'm found innocent? Because I had charges against me one time and I had to pay bail and I had to pay lawyer fees and all the charges were dropped. I didn't get none of that money back. So, again, these are rights given to us by God that supposedly can't be taken away, and again, taken away. And then we get to the third one, the pursuit of happiness. So this one is subjective because your version of happiness may not be the same as my version of happiness. Your version of happiness may be going to church every day and reading the Bible all the time, and to me that would be like being in hell. So whose version of happiness do we grade this on? Your version of happiness may be sitting around on the weekends and drinking beer and watching football, and mine might be smoking weed. But the thing that I like to do that makes me happy is illegal, and the things that you like to do is legal because of the beer companies and all of the bullshit laws that we know that were made to demonize marijuana and things like that. So I find it funny that we have all these rights that are supposedly given to us by God that can't be taken away, but they get taken away all the time. So I would have to call bullshit and say there's no such thing as rights given to you by God, because if there was, then they wouldn't be taken away. But in the United States, these rights are taken away all the time. You know, we'll take a person who gets caught with a small little bag of cocaine and put them in prison with no bond. How is that fair? You know, I can understand if somebody's like a cartel drug dealer, but just some dude trying to get high and you'll give them no bond, you know? So these unalienable rights is bullshit. It's everything that the people on the right and the government tells us. There is no such thing as rights given to you by God that can't be taken away, because they get taken away all the time. George Carlin said something funny that I agree with. He says they're not rights because rights can't be taken away. He said they're privileges because a privilege can be given one day and taken away the next. And that's the truth. So don't fall for this patriotic bullshit. And also, figure out what's the difference between the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Thanks.